Good afternoon. Thanks for coming back to my channel. Welcome to episode 6 of Inspirational Invitational. I've got a very good guest this week, somebody who's just completed the London Marathon in the hot conditions. So we're going to talk about her running journey and we're going to debrief London a little bit. And this week's guest is Clean Coach Katie. So welcome to the channel, Katie.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me on, Richard. Very pleased to be here.
No worries at all. And so let's get straight into it because we've only got half an hour. So I was going to ask you to talk about just like your background in running and your running journey from how you got into it to roughly now.
Yeah, okay. To be honest, I have never really been a runner. My dad actually said to me after the London Marathon on Sunday, we were sitting in the pub afterwards, and he said, imagine if you actually I'd put you into running when you were a kid, Kate, you'd be really good. God, thank you, Dad. But yes, I've never really been a runner. So I used to play netball when I was at university. And then I decided after university, I did sports science at university. So that's obviously where my sports and backgrounds come into. Then I moved home and I found that all my friends were sort of moved on with their lives, but were doing other things. And I couldn't just slot back into life how it was before I'd been to uni. So I wanted a new hobby, and that actually turned out to be running. I signed up for my first half marathon. This was sort of springtime. Signed up for my first half marathon, and it was actually Run to the Beat when it was in London. And I set myself a target of under 2 hours. I didn't hit that. I did think about 2:04, but I was really happy with that. And then that's how my sort of run journey continued. Sort of got inspired by the London Marathon one year, put myself in for the ballot, didn't get into the ballot like most people. I didn't realise the avenue of charity. So I then signed up for running for Children with Cancer UK, and that's sort of then how my running journey sort of really propelled and moved forward, I guess. And then going into sort of PT stuff. So after uni, obviously I did sports science. I've had various jobs working in sort of events, sport events. And then I fell into a job which was in project management and really sort of wasn't for me. And I guess when you're at a stage in your life, you hear a lot of people that when they come, that something's not right for you to make a change. And that's what happened with me. I thought, why don't I put my sports science background into good use? I love running. I've always sort of used gym. I've been injured quite a lot in the past. So I've always used gym as sort of rehab and keeping myself conditioned through injury. So I was like, why can't I become a personal trainer and help others and sort of transition from events into that? And then that's how it's all sort of happened. And it's about this time last year that I went full time with CCK, Clean Coach Katie. And yeah, it's just sort of gone from there. It's just evolved and it's gone further than what I'd ever imagined it to. So yeah, and
it was about a year ago roughly. That's when we sort of met, wasn't it? Because we got chatting online and we ended up meeting up at the London Marathon Expo. And I remember then you were talking about you had, great visions for helping people in Milton Keynes and become stronger and fitter and faster. Yeah. And yeah, it's gone on from there and it's doing really well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic. And when I first sort of did my PT course, I went down the avenue of, just sort of wanting to be helping people in the gym. And I got told by people that there wasn't a market for runners just run. But I understood that, you need to do a lot of work around just running to make your running better, but also just conditioning and just injury prevention. And when I actually started to document my journey for the London Marathon this time last year, I think I only sort of started a YouTube channel about 4 weeks. Not a YouTube channel, but a YouTube series, like 4 weeks in the lead up to it. And it was actually then that people really took an interest in what I was doing and how I was training. And that's sort of how it really sort of took off, because I didn't want to put too much about me out there and be like, oh, it's all about me. But actually people were really interested in how I trained and how I got on. And then from there, I then started sort of doing core classes, and actually people wanted to do a lot more strength work, and CCK's then gone on from a lot from there. So yeah, sometimes what my original vision for my business was, I was trying to conform to what I thought it should be rather than letting it be natural and what I wanted it to be. So now that I've gone down that avenue, it's just, and I'm helping people now all the time with just not their confidence, but their running, the strength work and everything around it that just makes you a better and more confident runner. Because that's it. It's not only just about the running training, but it's believing in yourself. And if I can help others believe in themselves, then that's going to make them a better runner. So.
Yeah, and I think, you know, your classes, I've seen the photographs that you put up on your social media of the classes, and they're packed out. And one of the girls that, you know, she moved on to Dubai, I think, in the end, but she wrote a really, really nice blog about the services that you'd done for her and how you'd made her feel. And how does that feel, getting the kind of that sort of feedback from your customers?
Honestly, like it's so incredible. And like I do my class on a Wednesday night, and like it's Wednesday today, and despite doing the marathon on Sunday, I'm going to teach them tonight. But it's my favorite part of the week, because there's just such a good atmosphere. Like, exercise should be fun. It shouldn't just all be about pushing yourself to, because a lot of people don't like exercise and they're like, oh, I don't like going to the gym. But you need to find a form of exercise that you enjoy, and that's what it is with the classes. You know, we're working hard. I'm making sure that they're performing the right technique and all that sort of stuff, but it's just about enjoying it. And there's such a good buzz for it, and that's what makes you come along to the class, because you know you're getting what you need from the class, but you're also enjoying it at the same time. And for people that, when I get messages and for people to say, like, you've inspired me, like I've had a few messages from non-runners since Sunday saying, you know, I've been watching your journey. People that I didn't even know that had been watching the last 16 weeks and said, I've been really inspired and I want to put my name in for the ballot. And that just brings me so much joy. Last week I had so many of my clients, you know, I was trying to, a lot of them were running London as well, and I was saying stuff to them. They're like, don't worry about us, focus on yourself for once. Like, you focus too much on other people, not yourself. But I enjoy it, and to see other people, it's the believing in yourself. And when, you know, one of my clients, Sadie, she got good for age at Manchester, and all the way up until she did it, she was like, I'm sure I can do it, but I'm not sure. But I built it in her to be like, you can, and she did it. And yeah, just to see people succeed, and it's not just about PBs or achievements, but it's just to see them happy. That makes me happy too. I've completely digressed there, but I could talk about this sort of thing forever. But yeah, just to know that I've made a difference to someone's life in just a small way, and if I can do that every single day, then I've succeeded in what Clean Coach Kate is all about.
Yeah, well, I don't apologise for being passionate about it. You know, it's what you do, and you do it well. And you know, I'm sure your customers will all agree, and your clients will all rave about what you do for them. So we've got a few people in the live chat already. We've got 40 runs, Miranda Markham, a Runner's Ramble, Hellbringer X is there, Jeff Chisnell's there, FOD runner, Running Viola, Joe Hoskins, and Tyres and Trainers. So, guys, if you've listened to a bit of Katie's story so far, if you've got anything you want to ask her, get your questions into the comments, and we'll try and deal with them as we go through. Okay, so we talked about sort of like how you got into running and becoming a PT. So you've actually, in your personal running, you've come on leaps and bounds really in the times that you can do over the last 12 months. You've dropped your PBs down. You know, yeah. What have you been doing in your training to make those improvements, and in your nutrition as well?
It's quite simple, really. Some of the stuff, it's like it's all out there, but oh, gosh, yeah, it's been an amazing 12 months. I think as I said before, I was injured quite a lot in the past, and when so my second marathon was last year in 2017, and because I'd become so injured before, I had a stress fracture. I just wanted to get round 2017, so I created my own training plan, and it was just based on running miles and miles, but no pace variation. It was just getting the mileage up to do the distance, because that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to get to that start line to be injury free. And a few weeks before I did London, that's when I met James, obviously my boyfriend, and he helped me through sort of like the taper period. And it was just that believing in yourself. He was like, he didn't know me very well by then, but I was not told many people, but I was going for good for age. And to have someone else believing you, to know that you can do it, sort of gives you that self-belief too. So I managed to do good for age. And then obviously James, an experienced runner, had sort of then opened my eyes up into the new world of interval training, tempo runs, And then I coupled that with my own sort of PT work, so doing strength-based stuff, the core work, and obviously just eating well for performance. So I just had to mix my training up, and that's really, really what it is. And we actually had, James and I had a really good conversation yesterday, because we've had a couple of days off. We were away yesterday, and we were just talking just in general, and we were just talking about some of our favourite moments that we've had over the last year. And he said one of my favourite moments was after a half marathon that I did last September, which was a Bedford half, and I targeted that race again. I'd done a whole series on it, and my previous PB for that was 1:43 over half, and I was targeting under 1:37. And as we got closer, I think the week off, he dropped my target. He's like, "You're going to go sub 1:35." And I thought, no way. And he's like, "Yes, you can." And he said, when I crossed that line, he saw my face, and he then had seen a completely different side to me that I then believed in myself. So he said, once you then believe in yourself, then you can just get better. Because, you know, I've now gone sub 20 at parkrun. And this time last year, I think I was about, well, a year ago, I was about 23-minute parkrunner. And I was like, sub 20, like 20 minutes for a parkrun. That's just absolutely insane. I'd never, ever, that's something I'd be able to dream of. But now I'm like, right, okay, well, I've done sub 20. Let's see if I can do sub 19. But it's because I kind of believe in myself that I can go and do it. So yeah, it's just been a whole mix of training, and I'm going to keep going back to it. You just need to believe in yourself and your own capabilities, and having other people around you that believe in yourself. I'm very lucky that I've got this platform now, is that I've got YouTube, I've got social media, and I've got all my clients, and they believe in me and I believe in them. And it's just when you can give that back to each other, that's what sort of gives you that little extra boost.
That's it. And it's all about working together. You know, Eliud Kipchoge, who is the London Marathon champion this year, said something which really resonated with me. And he said, 100% of me is nothing compared to 1% of a team. And I think that's absolutely right. You know, if people work together rather than on their own, everybody will succeed and everybody will move forward. And we've got questions pouring in now, Katie, so I'm going to dive onto them very quickly. Okay, so Katerina from Race Check, she's asking, why is it called Clean, Katie? Does it refer to nutrition?
Yes, it is actually. I saw Katerina on the London Marathon at mile 13. That was brilliant to see her.
Yeah, she said she saw you.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. She told us that, I think she said on Twitter that she's going to be there. So yeah, Clean Coach Katie is down to the nutrition side of things, because when I first, obviously at uni, I did sports science, but my diet was not very good at uni. I was one of the typical students. In between lectures, I'd have things like beans on toast, and I'd stick stuff in the oven for dinner. So then when I came out of uni and then started running, I then got really interested in nutrition and how it would fuel performance. And at that time, that's when the Instagram food picture boom sort of started as well. So I sort of got really involved in that and new recipes. So that's where it's, yeah, that's how that sort of started, was the clean eating. Don't get me wrong, I have since the marathon enjoyed a few Prosecco's, a burger and a brownie or two. Don't get me wrong, it's about balance.
You've earned them.
You just need to, eating well. I think eating well just makes you feel better as well in general life. I really, if I eat a good diet, I wouldn't call it a diet. If I eat well, if I eat good food, good quality food sources, I feel better in general. And I work long hours. I have to be up late. I have to be up early. I work late. I need that energy, and eating junk food doesn't do well for my body. So yeah, that's where the Clean Coach Katie came about.
And then Miranda wants to know, she just says, tell me your secrets. Great question.
Saying that, it's quite funny because I did used to just sort of run like 8:30, 9-minute miles for like every single run. And I remember like at one park run, because as well with being a PT, I obviously work unsociable hours in terms of like I work first thing in the morning and work in the evening. So I don't get to go to many club runs anymore. So I don't see many sort of Redway runners out on runs apart from at the weekends. And yeah, a few people after like made it to park run one week, and someone's like, what's your secret? Tell me. Like, where can I buy this rocket fuel from? But there is no, like, go and watch my 16-week series of the marathon training, you'll see that blood, sweat, tears, like hard, tough workouts went into that training, and there is no secret. It's just hard work and consistency.
I was going to say, I already know what your secret is you work bloody hard. That's exactly how you've got where you are.
James has said so many times that he wants to do like a parody series of my 16-week training, like a YouTube series, because he's like, I see a completely different side to you. I need to get all of these moments on camera of what you're really actually like behind closed doors.
All the meltdowns and that kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, they've been...
Runners Ramble is asking then, what's your favourite or your least favourite session or exercise?
Tempo runs. I hate tempo runs. If you watch my videos, you'll know I hate tempo runs, because tempo runs is basically you're pushing yourself at an comfortable pace, and it's working at threshold but not pushing yourself to the point of overexertion. And tempo runs are, if you're wanting to sort of get quicker, they're the things, that's the kind of run that you're gonna like. I quite like intervals now, because I know that I can do it. I know that it's hard at the time, but when they're shorter, you know that you get a recovery period. With tempo runs, you're just out there and you're just exposing yourself and exposing your lungs.
Yeah, it's bloody hard work, but I prefer the intervals. You know, I used to do a lot of track sessions, and they definitely make you faster. So Andy FOD runner has got a question. You've been so motivated for continued improvement in your running. What drives you on a day-to-day basis to keep up that momentum?
I think I'm quite a naturally driven person. I always have been in anything that I've ever done. That's a very good question, Andy. Thank you. You've caught me off guard. I don't know. I think it's always just wanting to be better, be a better version of yourself, I guess, and just always improve. Like, I love having something to look forward to or to target. It's just like anything in life, rather than just sort of keeping and plateauing. Like, even with, like, I like having things in the diary, not just about running or training. I like having things in the diary to look forward to. So I like having holidays in the diary, or, you know, friends and social occasions, things to look forward to. So that's what drives me, is just always wanting to push forward and push ahead, I guess.
Yeah. 40 runs wants to know what tip can you give him to increase his speed? I think we just covered that really with the interval sessions and the tempo runs.
Yeah, that's it.
It's definitely a quote that I once heard from Martin Yelling. He said, "The only way to run fast is to run fast."
Yeah, we say that quite a lot, don't we? Like, there is like, I've said it quite a lot to some of my clients, like, you want to run faster, you have to run faster. And it's actually pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. I've just run a course with the running club recently, and it was called Need for Speed, and it's gone down so well that we're doing another 4 in May. And at the start of every session, I said, number 1, you're going to push yourself outside your comfort zone tonight. And number 2, you're going to believe in yourself a little bit more. And you need to push yourself outside that comfort zone, because it's so easy. Like, I could really go out and do an interval session and not push myself hard enough. But you need to know at what sort of threshold you need to push yourself to, or, you know, you need target, should I say. You need to, because you can go and say, I'm going to do an interval session, but you can go and do 3 lots of mile repeats at 9-minute miles. But if that's not going to push you to where you need to be, then there's no point doing it. So
yeah, you've got to run faster than you find comfortable, haven't you? And tolerate it for short time, have a rest, tolerate it again, have a rest. That's really the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what else we got? Oh, Katerina's saying it was amazing to see you. Obviously talking about London Marathon. Miranda's asking, how important is nutrition in your training plans? She basically uses running as an excuse to eat what she wants. She doesn't eat junk all the time, by the way, but just doesn't restrict herself.
No, that's great. I mean, there should be definitely moderation and balance within your diet. But I hear it all the time. Like, a lot of clients will go and run in the evenings, and if you've been in the office all day and there's, like, you get a 3 o'clock slump. Normally, if you work in an office, there's the cakes and the biscuits and the treats. But once you've eaten that, you then go out and you probably have a rubbish session after that, because you don't feel great. So I think, you know, you should use food as fuel to fuel your workouts and your performance. It's like they say all the time about putting fuel in a car. You're not going to put petrol in a diesel car, or vice versa. You're going to put the best form of petrol you can in your car for it to perform better. So you need to think about that the same with your training. Like, don't get me wrong, you can obviously treat yourself, but do that probably afterwards, not before a session. So it's just about having that balance. And yeah, I just feel that eating the better foods helps me train better.
And then Joe Hoskins is asking that he struggles to motivate himself to do anything but run. So how important is it to do strength work, and how much should he be doing in a week?
That's quite a common question. And again, so you'll hear people will only stretch, they'll only cross train, and they'll only do strength work when they're injured. But that's not the case. So your motivation to do those kind of things would be to keep injury free, and also to become faster. I know that now that I've done a lot of sort of leg-based strength stuff, I know that I don't fade as much in the later half of a race because my legs are stronger to carry me on. So I haven't said this yet, but another important part of my week is yoga. I go to yoga once a week, so I get a lot of sort of mobility, stretching done in yoga, and I strength train sometimes only once a week. But then also, because I am doing all my PT stuff, I do a lot of demonstrations. So when you couple that all together, I probably do quite a few strength sessions in one. Plus, teaching my classes, I do get the benefit of actually teaching my classes. I'm doing the workout technically with them, all the demonstrations that I'm doing. So if you can do anything, I would really recommend doing at least sort of one stretching or yoga session. There's so many things out there on YouTube now. You don't need to go to a class necessarily to do that sort of stuff. Get your foam roller out a couple of times a week and one strength session. And again, you can do it from home. You don't have to be at a gym. There's things that out there, and that's something that I'm going to do more now videos on. Is just some basic, you can just pick up a resistance band, and there's so many things you can do at home. You don't need to be at a gym to be using weights to do so.
Okay, cool. All right, I've got a few more questions in there, but just come away from the questions just briefly. Let's talk about the London Marathon then. So, what a day! Tell me how it went for you.
I learned this.
Got your medal as well.
Wearing it, just keep it around my neck forever. It was a mixed bag of emotions for me, I must admit. I went into this race feeling the most prepared I've ever felt for a race in my life. I had a target time in mind, but I also felt a whole another load of pressure because I had made myself so accountable to YouTube and all of my clients, what I was trying to do on that day. It wasn't the race that I wanted, I'll be honest, and I'm going to do a whole race report and video myself on it. It wasn't the race that I pictured, but I tell my clients as well, you know, what went well on the day. Number one, I finished. I didn't get the target time that I wanted, but I still got a PB, and I haven't heard many people PB on Sunday, so that's got a 12-minute PB. I thought that I could go under 3:30. My time was 3:32. I thought I could go under 3:30 with my eyes closed, if I was being honest. But the heat got to me. But to be honest, doing 3:32, that's also a Boston qualifying time. So I've got to take that away, is that I PB'd and I didn't give up. I did not give up. I have never walked in a race in my life. Oh no, that's a lie. At cross country, I have walked across country before. There was one Mammoth Hill, and I was walking up it as quick as someone else was running up it. But I've never walked, but I had to stop at 17 and I had to walk run. So to be fair, when I tell people, they're like, you ran from mile 17 and did 3:32. Fair play to you, Katie. So I think that was just the most frustrating thing, is that I'd trained so hard for it and the conditions on the day just didn't allow me to do what I thought I could be capable of. I ran in Cyprus in the heat. I thought I'd be okay, but that wasn't the case. But then also, on reflection, on another positive note, from mile 17, because of that, I had so many people out on the course that were there that I could stop off and talk to. In the past, I never do that. I never stop and hug anyone. I just sort of run. I'm in the zone. But I saw all the Redway runners at mile 22. I saw my family at mile 23. I saw my best friend at 24, and I saw my nana and my uncle at 25. Like, so, you know, that's another bonus. I was able to speak to them on the way around. So it wasn't the race I wanted, but then also the marathon should not be underestimated as a distance. 26.2 miles is a hell of a long way. So yeah, I earned this, and the 16 weeks of training is not going to waste. I PB'd over every other distance in the training block, and I did a marathon. Like, no one can take that away from me. So yeah, I've been a mixed bag the last few days, not going to lie. And I know that probably people are looking at this thinking she's silly for not being happy with her time, but I just was hoping for a different race. But that's what running is all about. You learn every race you do, you learn from, and you just have to lace up and go again.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, you know, everybody out there in the London Marathon earned that medal this time round. You know, it was so hot, and I think people just had to adjust their goals as they were going, and they realised this is just ridiculous. Everyone else, I was joking at a water station, like, who's going for a PB then, you know, and everyone's like walking, going, oh, sod off, mate, you know, but yeah,
I did keep thinking
it was just one of them days at the office, wasn't it, where it was just too much.
Yeah, I kept setting myself like little goals where, oh, you know, try and get this time instead, or try and get that time. And by the end, it was like, at mile 20, I saw someone else from my club, and we sort of ran it in together. And she was brilliant, and we were just trying to motivate each other. And actually looking around, it was just to finish safely, because the amount of people that I'd seen that had collapsed, that had fallen over, their legs were going, you know, there wasn't many people out there that looked like they were enjoying it at the stage of the race that I was in anyway. And I just thought, I haven't trained for 4 months to put myself to a point that I can't even carry myself anymore. Like, I've only just watched Callum Hawkins. Everyone told me not to watch Callum Hawkins race until after the marathon. And that was scary to watch. Like, I managed to finish. Okay, yeah, I had to run, walk, and had to adapt my goals, like you said, but I finished safely.
Yeah, and I tried to, like my London Marathon video, I tried to make that the message throughout about hydration, wearing sunscreen, just being safe. And as you say, you know, Callum Hawkins collapsing, that's a cautionary tale. And we've learned since, sadly, that Matt Campbell died at this year's London Marathon, which is obviously the worst case scenario. So I give my condolences to his family and friends. I'm sorry for your loss there. And I know that they're doing a hashtag finish for Matt. So tomorrow, Thursday, you've got to go and run 3.7 miles, which was to finish the race for Matt. Tag it on Strava, and the idea is you make a donation to his fundraising page. So yeah, I'd encourage everybody to do that 3.7 miles tomorrow and finish for Matt. Even though my legs still hurt, I'm going to do it. So yeah. So it's not always positive at marathon running. You do get these sad stories, and it's always tragic. So, you know, as I say, I'm sorry to his family and friends.
Yeah,
yeah. Go on. Sorry. What's your take on that, Katie?
Yeah, it's a real shame, and it's just heartbreaking. You know, there are no words I can say really. I will do those 3.7 miles. I'm not sure I will do them tomorrow. But I'll get them done over the weekend. Not get them done, but I will do them over the weekend in his memory. And it just, yeah, it's just about running isn't about that, about pushing yourself. Not that that's what happened to Matt, but it just makes you realise that, you know, what is your purpose and your reason to run? And my purpose was not to push myself on Sunday. It was just to enjoy it. And I've spoken to so many other clients of mine since the race, and you know what, they adapted their goals and they loved the race because of that. So it's such an unfortunate thing, and it's just really not good to hear afterwards. And it's just, it's scary, if I'm being honest. Really scary.
Yeah, it is. And you just have to make sure that you're fit to run, and if you've got any doubts, see a doctor.
I loved your.
You know, one way to obviously safeguard against all of that is to follow, you know, a decent marathon plan, and that's one of the questions Paul Thomas has asked. You know, do you recommend any marathon plan?
No, because I think it needs to be personal to the individual, because like, we don't know what happened to Matt yet, because he might have done everything right that he thought he needed to do. But with a marathon plan, I think it's really individual to yourself, because especially I hear with like first timers, they're like, oh, I've seen that so-and-so's done X amount of distance already. on their training plan, but I'm only up to so much. But I think that it needs to be down to the individual. You know, you can give out advice where you run this many times a week, but you know, the best plan really is just to get you to, it's just to get to that start line as fit and healthy as you can, rather than to be overtired or undertrained. No, so there is no best personal plan. I think that you should be running sort of 3 to 4 times a week. You need to build up your mileage to the point that, you know, you're at peak 4 weeks before, you then taper down, and just including different variety of sessions really. So, and you've got to work it around your own lifestyle, because some people can have the luxury to go and train 6 times a week. Some people can't train that many times a week because they'll become injured. So it's just, you might need to throw some cross training in there. But
you like plans for people, don't you?
I do. Plug, thank you. I do.
Where can people get a plan from you?
So just either via my website, which is cleancoachkatie.com, or just send me an email at cleancoachkatie@gmail.com. So yeah, I've done quite a few plans for people. We were just saying before this that, you know, all of my clients, there's about 8 clients that I had running on London, but none of them actually got their target time on Sunday. So that's, you know, that's not what it's about. You know, they actually, all of them have said since how much they actually enjoyed it. And that's the thing, they did 12 or 16 weeks training. But like you said, I was able to help them that on the day they knew as a runner they had needed to adopt, they just needed to get from A to B. And none of them have wasted that at all, because they've had the experience. A lot of them, it's their first marathon, have had the experience of their lives. But the one good thing is that I allow my clients to check in with me every fortnight. We have a club on Strava, so I can stalk their runs, so they know that I'm looking at them. Like, a lot of them say that they think that, oh no, I'm uploading this to Strava now, okay, to be able to see. But they have a fortnightly check-in, so I adapt their plans. Because if you were to go onto a normal website, you download a 16-week plan and it doesn't change. But some of my clients have had to adopt their goals. Some of them due to, say, maybe a bit of an injury, or you know, they've become better than what they'd expected. And or it's like life comes up, some of them have to work away, so we change their plan accordingly. So I'm very individual with my clients and make sure that I can get the best out of their performance.
Okay, cool. Right, I've got loads more questions here, so we can try and quick fire through them a bit now. Tim Gower wants to know, do you need 2 pairs of running trainers? Do running shoes need rest?
I wouldn't. Well, I'm not an expert, let's just say, about running trainers, but I do like to have multiple trainers to training, just because they can get worn out quite quickly. I don't think they need rest in between, but I tend to have quite a different few pairs. Some to do sort of like longer runs in that I've got a bit more support, and then I have sort of lighter weight ones that are more for speed work. So I recommend a couple of pairs if you can when you're doing a lot of training.
Okay, the Running Viola wants to know, are you a member of an athletics club?
I am part of the best club in the world, the Redway Runners. We're based in Milton Keynes. We're not classed as an athletics club as such, but it's just honestly one of the best clubs in the world. Team Green, the Green Army, you'll see us everywhere around the UK. A lot of people do tourism at different races and stuff. But yeah, that's really, I joined them after my first marathon actually, and it's where I've met so many friends. But to be fair, if that's in relation to, do you need to be part of a club? Not necessarily. I try to get to as many runs as I can, but as I said before, I can't always with my job. So it's good to have the support and advice from a running club, but joining the club is one of the best things. It's just that community feel, like the community of Parkrun, the community of YouTube, the community of a club is awesome.
Okay, Jeff Chisnell wants to know, what's your favourite holiday location?
Oh, somewhere hot, anywhere hot. Somewhere hot and where you can run. I've been to America, loved New York, done a road trip in LA, but yeah, somewhere where it's just hot and just peaceful. That's what. Okay,
so getting some feedback now from some of the questions you've answered earlier. So Miranda said, thanks for the good advice. Couple of people are asking actually the same sort of thing. What's your plan now post London? What's your next race and all that kind of stuff?
Should I be really mean and say I'm going to do another video on this soon?
Yeah, fine. Tune into Kate's channel to find that out.
I've got some races booked up already. I'll be going into sort of shorter distances now. I've got a few 5Ks and 10Ks sort of planned in the summer. And you're
going to announce those on your channel, yeah?
Yes, I will do. Yeah. So
okay, no problem. Right, God, you guys have asked so many questions. I've never had this many questions on a live stream.
yes,
Let's try and get through them. No, it's great though. It's great. I love it because, you know, people got all these questions burning inside them and they can get them out and ask you, and you know your stuff probably better than me. So,
yeah,
right.
As well, just can I ask a question back to everyone that's watching? What do you want to see more from my channel next? Because obviously, I think I've probably shoved the London Marathon down everyone's throats for the last 16 weeks. What do you want to see coming up? Because I think every Sunday I've dedicated to doing, Sunday for me was always doing my long run, my blog post, my YouTube video, and I do a weekly newsletter for my clients. So if you want to join that, you can do. And that was my Sunday. I'm going to have a hole on Sunday to film now. So what do you want to see on YouTube? What do you want me to do next?
Yeah, so drop that in the comments or send Katie a tweet on Twitter. She's Clean Coach Katie on there.
Yeah.
The travel runner's got an interesting question. He wants to know about the start of the London Marathon. How long were we waiting in the starting corral, and how long after the race did it take to get to the start line? So that's a bit of a complex one because it depends what start you go off, doesn't it? But you went off Good for Age this year. How was that?
So I've experienced both red and I was in green this year. So I know that the red start had the waves. I guess you can speak about this a bit more, but the green start was not waves. You were put in zones, but I think you were put on zones based on what time you did previously, because a few people that I knew were in zones ahead of me and did really good times last year, but this year they thought, oh, I'm not going to be as quick as that. Whereas I was put in a zone that had like a 4-hour pacer in it, because I did 3:44 last year. But it did only take me 4 minutes to get over the start.
Yeah, I've been off green as well, and only a few thousand go from green. So it's not really that long at all from green, maybe 5-10 minutes max, really.
But then when I did the red zone last year, it wasn't waves and it didn't take me too long. I think, I don't know, maybe 7 minutes.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I went off red this year. So on the red, you've got Good for Age runners at the front, followed by the mass start. And I happened to be in zone 1. So I was right after the Good for Age. So I think it was 3 or 4 minutes for me. But I know if you're further back, it can take some people half an hour, you know, to get across.
There were some people that were almost an hour. Really?
Yeah.
Feedback from some people that I know have said that it was a good. Oh no, my Garmin just told me to move.
We've been talking too long.
No, we haven't. No, my Garmin told me to move on Sunday after the marathon. I was sat in the pub. My mum was like, "What was that?" And I said, "I've just been told to move." She's like, "How dare it? You've just run a marathon." Yeah,
mine does the same, and I'm just thinking, are you joking me right now?
Turn it off before anyone says anything. I know you can turn it off, but this is a new watch, so that's why I haven't done it yet. So yeah, so it took me about 4 minutes. But the good thing about the app is that the tracker app tells everyone that's tracking you how long it took you to cross the line. Because people were asking me, what time will you reach this mile? What time will you reach that mile? Just so they could look out for me. But then obviously that all went out the window when my plan didn't go to what I thought it would.
Okay, right. There's so many questions, but I don't think we're going to be able to get through them all because we are running over slightly, and I actually start work in 55 minutes, so I've got to wrap this up very soon.
Fun.
Yeah, I know. I'm on the late. I just wanted to cover a couple more things really quickly then. So we're both running at Milton Keynes, not this weekend but next, aren't we? So if anyone is running there, please do come over and say hello.
Yes, I'm only doing the half. I'm not doing the full marathon. A few people have asked me. A few people have actually said to me, "Why don't you go and do Milton Keynes Marathon? I know that you were disappointed with your time." But one piece of advice that I would give to anyone is don't ever chase a time, like, especially with a marathon, because there's just no point. You've done all of that training, and as you said earlier, you've spent that training in that marathon. Trying to chase something is just not the right thing to do. So, you know, I've drawn a line under it. I'm really happy. You know, I've got a PB. It just means that I can go and beat that PB by a lot more next time. And it's just to focus on something new, a new goal to try and work towards.
Absolutely. And the last thing I just wanted to cover is that you mentioned about your favourite holiday destination, going somewhere. We're both going to the Cyprus, Logicom Cyprus half marathon and marathon, aren't we? Next year in March.
Next year.
along with loads of other people, like, we're not going together.
Sorry, James, sorry, Dominique, we're leaving you at home. We're going.
Yeah. But yeah, we're both going to be there. So if anyone's looking for a good race, then come to that one with us, because you did it this year, just last month, didn't you? So how was it?
Oh, it was fantastic. We had a great time. We made it into a holiday. We were there for a week. The fantastic thing about it is it's a 5K, 10K, half and full marathon. And we just had an absolute blast. Like, you go and collect your number from the expo. There's a real buzz around the harbour. And yeah, it was really, really good. And I put a lot of pictures about it. A lot of people from the club are really interested. So a load of us from the Redway Runners Club are going out there next year. We're turning it into a club trip. And it just means that it's so inclusive for everyone, that everyone can come along. Loads of people are actually signing up for the 5 and 10K just so they can, there's free beer at the end. So they're just going to take advantage, so that they're going to see how many beers they can get in before the rest of us finish the other races. And it's just,
that sounds like an even better marathon to do.
But it's just a great location, and to couple it with some sun and a big group of us. They've got loads of new stuff going on next year, I believe. There's going to be a wine run on Thursday before.
Oh, that'll be all right.
Yeah, so looking forward to that, like through a vineyard, and you can do some wine tasting at the end, I believe. So yeah, you can you can stay out there for a week, you can stay out there for a few days, but yeah, it's going to be fantastic weekend. And I picked up a trophy last time. I was first in my age category, fourth lady, but I'm hoping to try and get up a bit more and just see what I can do. Although maybe if I try not to.
And I know the Race Check Visor Club, a load of us are going out to that race as well.
Oh, are you? I know you are, but I didn't know Race Check as well.
Yeah, and basically they're doing a special edition visor for that race only, which you will only get if you do that race. So any Race Check members who want to come out there, make sure you put Visor Club in the club, when you say what club or team you're part of, and you'll get your custom visor. Amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, and it was good. I think that's how I built that into my marathon training. I said to James last year, I've not done an abroad race before, and that was my first one. And then he said, okay, well, go do some research, find something that you want to do, build it into your marathon training plan. And yeah, so despite obviously, like I said about London already, that was part of my training. So I've had a pretty good training block. So yeah, come join us next year. I'm really looking forward to it already.
Yeah, a runner's ramble saying if we're stuck for a race, we could get up to the Great North Run. Mate, I do love that race. This year, I can't do it. I looked at work, and the diary says every single day in September is free to be booked as holiday, except that day. So I reckon there's other people at work running it.
When is it? Do you know when it is?
It's the 9th of September, I think.
Oh, I have a feeling. Am I? Oh no, no, that's another race that I think it's the 16th of September. I'm doing. What am I doing? Yeah, I'm doing the Richmond half. So that's one race that I'm gonna. No, I've got it free. So
there you go. One to look at.
You've got to be in the ballot for that, haven't you?
Yeah, it is a ballot, I think, but it's not impossible to get into like London, so you can easily get in the ballot there.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Now, I'm sorry if I haven't done all your questions today, because I am pushed for time. I would have loved to have gone into all of them, but I'll probably try and get Katie on again in the future. So if there's any more questions for her, we can hopefully deal with them then. So yeah, is there anything you want to add quickly, Katie, before we sign off?
No, just thank you everyone for listening. I hope that you've enjoyed it, and thank you to Rich for having me on. And yeah, just believe in yourself, because when you believe in yourself, your running will transform.
All right, thanks very much. And I've been told in the chat that I had a bit of copying and pasting malfunction. All of the links below are for the big pink dress who was on last week, so I will amend those to your links. I'll put all the links to Katie's social media and her YouTube channel and her website below. And if you want to obviously check out Clean Coach Katie and what she does, then that's where to go. Yeah, so thanks very much for watching. Yep. And I shall see you all on the next one.
See you later.